to be fair, though, people might argue that altruism is all very well and good, but I still have salaries to pay, and I still have to keep my members happy. So beyond what organizations can contribute to the SDGs, what can the SDGs contribute to organizations? How do organizations benefit from fitting their work into the framework of the SDGs?
What's in it for me?
Exactly.
Why should I bother?
In a nutshell.
Again, I can see three things why organizations should be doing this that benefit themselves directly. The first one is visibility.
Okay.
The SDGs are increasingly known and recognized at all levels of society, government. Some may doubt their implementation. They may question the whole idea. But it's very difficult to doubt the intrinsic worth of ending poverty and improving health and providing education. It's really hard to work against that.
It's certainly impolitic to deny the value.
Very likely. And again, we're talking about people here who are open to sharing and working as community. So when you link your organization, when you link its vision, its purpose, mission, vision, right, to one or more of the SDGs, you're adding an extra element of visibility, of connection to your communications.
Right.
Okay.
Very true. I mean, most of us have at some point at least seen those 17 very colorful boxes.
Yes.
So indeed, that recognizability. Who ever heard of the Millennium Development Goals beyond if you were funded by them?
Okay, well,
so
let's not be too harsh. But anyway,
but
the SDGs
are comparatively
certainly increasingly known. That's the first one then. You can benefit from visibility. It's just like you're adding, I don't know, a seal of approval to your projects in a way.
So it's a bit of legitimacy as well.
It does. Yeah. It does. You can also benefit from partnerships. The SDGs can open so many doors to partnerships, to networks, even to funders. Okay.
Right.
So other organizations, authorities, corporations can identify with the SDGs because they're increasingly known.
Yeah.
And you can present this, that they can piggyback on your use of the SDGs to, and maybe I'm being a bit cynical here, but they can then expand their own reports and their own links. All right. We can all say, yes, we're working on that goal because we're working with that organization. Yes.
Exactly, because the SDGs are working towards a better world. If you can show how your organization is contributing to that vision of a better world, a sustainable world, that means as well, indeed, potential partners and funders can connect and say how they, through you, are contributing to a better world.
So again, and a lot of it's just, you're getting that logo out there, right?
Absolutely.
People are going to recognize it and think, I know what we're talking about here.
And once again, that legitimizing your work for partners, for funders, is good.
And we're all assuming, of course, that you're of high integrity and you're doing it all in quite an upright way. The third part here, we had visibility partners. You can also benefit as an organization from relevance, right? We talk a lot about that. What is the role of organizations today? You know, you got social media, you got millennials, right? Competition, predators, commercial initiatives. There's so many other options, and they're all just a mouse click away. Why would you join an organization? What makes an organization relevant today?
Yeah.
So we need to continue to show our relevance. We need to show our place in today's world.
Yeah.
And again, the SDGs are increasingly known. They're increasingly recognized.
Yeah. So indeed, it allows that by linking yourself to the SDGs, you're immediately conveying a sense of relevance.
Right.
Ideally, your vision statement from last podcast also already does this, but once again, it's that extra layer of legitimacy in this globally recognized framework. It becomes very hard to deny the value of the work you're doing.
Right. If there is no SDG statement on your website, donors, potential members, potential partners may well wonder whether you're up to date.
Very true. They've been around for 5 years now. And once again, associations, organizations, they're expected to be up to date. They're expected to be, if you're doing advocacy or you're representing your members, if after 5 years you still haven't tuned in to the SDGs, in my case personally, I would wonder indeed, how aware are you of your world? Do you know your world? And
It's a bit like in this past year, if your website didn't mention anything about COVID-19, you'd wonder, when was that website last refreshed?
Yes, it's exactly that.
But that doesn't mean the SDG should have been kicked off.
No, no, indeed. We completely understand if COVID-19 has taken over your front page, but the SDGs, even if they are not the hippest topic right at this moment, they're still very, very relevant. And once again, they're a very useful statement to have in terms of communicating the value you bring.
So, trusting that we have now convinced you of the value of using the framework, we've convinced you of the necessity to go and read some of those 20 pages. Where does my organization fit in? What can it contribute? What do I now do with the framework?
Right.
I want to use it. Well, the first thing is, what SDGs is your organization already using? What SDGs could I be using to frame its projects in my communications? I mean, maybe I'm already doing it. I just need to make a few choices and add a few logos.
Well, that's the thing. In many cases, it doesn't involve changing the work you're doing at all. It's actually simply looking at your own mission and vision and seeing, well, it's actually SDG 4.2 or something like that. It's making the link. So none of this requires you massively changing what you do.
But it might require, again, some deep diving into what the SDGs are. For instance, I can give an example here. There might be an organization of construction engineers, and they think, what are we going to contribute to, for example, goal number 4, which is about quality education, right? But when it reads that one of the targets of quality education is to build educational facilities, schools, the engineers may think, we're builders. We build schools. Yeah. So we do have something to do with that goal.
Yeah.
And not just some of the others. Or another organization possibly working with unemployed youth may not connect itself immediately with goal 15, life on land, but perhaps there's a reforestation project looking for youth apprentices. Okay, you want to find work for youth. Reforestation is in goal 15, so maybe there's links there that you hadn't thought of, but you already have a project.
Yes.
And you can just slot it in.
Yes, exactly. So that's where, when we pointed out earlier that the title alone of the of each of the 17 goals doesn't say very much, that sometimes you do need to actually look a little bit deeper, because indeed you might find that your work connects on many more issues than you thought.
The SDGs are so big, they're so all-encompassing that every project worth doing, I believe, is going to fit somewhere.
It certainly should.
Okay. So use them, exploit them. Remember visibility. What was the other one? Visibility, partnerships, and relevance.
Yes.
Okay.